So, episode 9, part 4, we're in here with the squad cadre. So I'll get those guys to introduce themselves, and then we'll kind of get into it. So,
I'm Battalion Chief, recently promoted Battalion Chief Jerod Burghart. For the last 5 years, I was a captain on Squad 5 at Station 5.
Yeah.
Phil.
Unfortunately. Philip Worthington, I'm an engineer, Squad 5, C shift.
C shift. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The only shift.
The only shift. All right. Already starting squad wars.
There we go.
Cadre wars, shift wars. We'll do it all. It doesn't matter.
There's other cadres? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, I think to report back, I think the 4th day for Justin Daly's thing got denied. So we tried.
Well, tell
So
Justin that.
he knows. He knows already.
Hopefully
So
he doesn't see this.
So let's kind of talk about Squad Week. It's definitely been something that we've always had. We've already talked about like how we've reinvented our training program for the recruits, but it's always been kind of a staple in our recruit class. You know, we've added some more truck company functions with forcible entry and search and that kind of stuff, but you know, we've always had engine, truck, squad, and EMS. You know, they've been kind of the staple since we started, and it's evolved a lot. And to me, honestly, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think it's the hardest week of our recruit class. Mm-hmm. Consistent, physically and I think mentally. You know, I was kind of thinking about it this morning before we even started this. Mentally, I think it's hard because it's towards the end of the program. Mm-hmm. It's nonstop. It's all day, and you guys have put out an amazing product and class. And, you know, I don't want to keep tooting this horn or beating the drum, but it's a class. I mean, mm-hmm. It's an FDIC class that's a week long, basically. So let's kind of talk about, you've been since the inception of it, talk about kind of how it kind of developed and, changed and what the need was.
Yeah. So, we're lucky enough to have 5 days, most classes. And really what came out of this was, the group of us who obviously are very passionate about the job, very into the job, have high expectations. We always like to say the standard is way up here. When it came to the squad stuff, obviously we have a heavy emphasis on RIT and firefighter survival during that week. And the big issue or the big thing about that is the fact that it's for us, right? We have to be able to take care of each other because that's, we're here for the people and citizens of the county, but we also have to be here for each other. And, over the course of us developing, Squad Week, we wanted to make sure that there was a high emphasis on physical fitness, on, an understanding and understanding the need and being proficient in being able to extract, firefighters from an IDLH atmosphere if they happen to call a mayday or they go down, or also being able to self-rescue. Firefighter survival is a big part of it too. So, over the course of us coming up, guys like Phil, Lieutenant Conrad, Josh Brannon, Lieutenant Daly, it's a whole list of guys that came together, and we decided that, look, we're going to make this something that we see will be beneficial for these new recruits coming through, that they'll be able to put into place on day one on the street that could save their lives or save the lives of one of their brothers or sisters on the street.
Yeah, I think that's important is, we hit it on it in the engine week was day one coming out of this system or this recruit class, you're ready to go. You're pulling the line. You could be in a mayday situation. We don't schedule those, right? We're not predicting these things. And I think, you hit physical fitness. I mean, we beat that drum probably harder than any drum. That's very important for our recruit class, being mentally prepared. And I know you guys, you use the crawl, walk, run, just like everybody else does. And I know you guys focus a lot on equipment, right? Mm-hmm. Maintaining your equipment, knowing your equipment is a big part, from your RIT PAGs to your SCBAs to your self-rescue devices, that kind of stuff. I know that's a big part of the first couple mornings. And, obviously with Lieutenant Daly's class, once that kind of instituted, it kind of took a little bit of stuff from you, I guess, so to speak, but it also made it more proficient and it added, it took some stuff that you guys would have to go back over and do. the recruits are getting earlier on, and then they're using it the whole class, so that you guys get to the spot of like you're ready to go when it goes. If you know what I mean, like
Yeah, no, absolutely.
not take away. I guess that's kind of the wrong word,
No,
but you know what I'm
yeah.
saying. Like it builds on it.
Yeah, like Phil was getting ready to say, like, I mean, dude, Lieutenant Daly's, the SCBA emergencies, SCBA comments, whatever you want to call it, is instrumental in building up to squad week toward at the end of the class. I mean, however many, how many classes have we done it now? 3 or 4? I can't remember.
I think we're up to 4. I think.
But that class, dude, there is a notable difference in the groups that have come through that have had that SCBA emergencies portion and the groups before we started instituting that. And it really makes, I guess it makes our job a little easier because some of the things that we don't have to really emphasize as much, they've already had it in that SCBA emergencies. So it's made them that much better at when they get to us.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. And if you were talking about the equipment, and I think there's a big misunderstanding that people think that, I don't have to really pay attention during this week, or this week's not for me because I don't want to be on a squad.
Yeah.
But now that
that
all of our engines and our trucks and our squads, everybody has a RIT pack. Everybody has an air pack for one.
Yeah.
So anybody could go down on their first day on the job. And that's the biggest thing people don't understand is like, oh, well, I'll have time to figure it out when I get on the job.
No.
That first day that you get on the street could be the day that everything goes bad. And we always say it's not if this is going to happen, but it's when, because statistics show that somebody's going to go down in a fire, right? So, and it's majority of the time, it's not the RIT team that's coming to save them. It's the interior crews or the crews that are working with you. So, and I think they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to be on a squad, so I don't really have to worry about this. I don't have to focus on what this equipment is. Oh, that RIT bag's not for me, right? But now that we have them on all the trucks and all the engines, it's you have to know it.
I was just getting ready to bring that up. Is most of the people are getting rescued by interior crews. If you look at the data, that might not necessarily be you wrote the exact
I got
data.
the data right here from Project Mayday. Out of 6,438 Maydays, I believe this is from 2021, but self rescue is 35% of the time, but interior crews was 50% of the time. That's either their own crew or another crew operating within inside the structure. And then RIT's at 6%. But in our class or in our section of recruit class, we give you the ability to learn how to save yourself or save another member.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're not, like Phil was saying, it doesn't matter if you're on a squad or not. At the end of the day, you need to know these things. That way you can help mitigate a situation that could be potentially really, really bad for yourself or for another member of our department.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, the biggest thing, too, at the end of the day, is I'm going to get on probably a little bit of a soapbox, but at the end of the day,
preach on.
This stuff is serious. Like, it's not, I don't care, I've done this, or, if you're coming through our stuff or you're coming through our portion and you've worked for another department, that's great. We appreciate that. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we like to guys that come in and maybe they can talk to us and be like, hey, we used to do this. Do you guys do this or do that? My biggest thing is like, we do this for us. And at the end of the day, if you don't take this serious and you don't put effort and put an emphasis on RIT and firefighter survival, at the end of the day, I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could. I was the most physically fit. I was the most well-trained in my equipment, that when the time does come, because again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, I was completely well-trained, I was completely physically fit to do everything I needed to do to save myself or to save one of my brothers on the street.
Yeah.
And that's what our goal is really throughout the squad week, is to get, to that level and really drive that home, whether it's through the physical fitness portion of it, the equipment portion, the scenarios portion that we have, which I'll probably get into in a minute, but I don't know, like it's a big deal. It's not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah. And I think you guys probably, out of all the cadres, and I'm probably going to get a little bit of crap for this one, but I think you guys out of all the cadres take your week the serious, the most serious. I think, and I've been around, since the inception in a little bit different role now, but like I don't want to say there's no messing around, but there's no messing around, because it's here's what we're doing. We have to get the job done, and that's important to me. That's important to my brothers next to me, my sisters next to me. That's important to my family. The family's a big thing too, because some of these scenarios are, we can kind of dive into those. Some of those scenarios are real scenarios.
Yeah.
There are the same narrative that's being played. It might be us saying it or somebody saying it, but it's the same scenario that a line of duty death happened or a serious injury happened. It's the same exact thing we set up. So, learning from our past is how we honor the fallen, right? That's the big thing to me is we honor them and it's hard, it's difficult, but we have to do it. That's what we do, So, but we can kind of get into that in a little bit, but let's kind of break down the week. So like Monday morning, we're just getting done with whatever the week before, you get a little bit of break. You're coming in Monday morning and it's go time. Like what's Monday look like?
Typically Monday morning we meet at Station 5 in the conference room, and we kind of give the recruits an introductory PowerPoint that Lieutenant Josh Brandon put together, and he does his PowerPoint, which usually takes an hour and a half or something. We introduce ourselves. We talk to the recruits. We have them introduce themselves to us. That way we kind of get an idea, like hey, like have you worked anywhere before? We just want to get an understanding of who we're messing with, and a lot of us help out with some of the other cadres too, so we get to kind of know some of them beforehand, but some of the other guys that maybe don't, we have them introduce themselves. We go through the PowerPoint, and then once that PowerPoint's over, we get after it.
Yeah.
You will be getting in gear. We'll start off with some gear drills. You'll be getting in gear. You'll be going on air, and you're going to be burning through bottles. Like we're going to
definitely burn through some bottles.
You're going to be put through the maze. You're going to be put through some scenarios or some, I guess for lack of a better term, a fire-based workout to get your heart rate up, see how you respond.
Little
self-confidence, right? We want to see people. You can't just be, you got to be physically tough, but you also have to be mentally tough to do this.
Yeah, I think that's important.
And this job is like, you have to be mentally tough to do this job, period. Like you can't be weak-minded individual, because we see a lot of things that normal people don't see. We do a lot of things, and we are put in situations that we have to be able to deal with from a mental toughness standpoint. And that's a big thing. Like our job throughout this week is we're going to make you comfortable. We're trying to make you comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we hurt some feelings.
We definitely hurt some feelings.
But at the end of the day, I feel like they're better for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to burn bottles that day. They're going to go through the maze. We work on our May days, so we go through the maze. At some portion of the maze, I usually get in there and I have them call their Mayday, because that's a big deal, right? Like Phil said, day one could be your first call on the street. You could be calling a Mayday. There could be the worst call of your career. It could be the first day of your career.
Yep.
And so you got to know how to call it Mayday. We've got to be able to, get that Mayday out, because I can't remember off the top of my head the number, but a lot of Maydays, there's a large portion of line of duty deaths where the initial Mayday call was missed. Mm-hmm. So we just want to make sure they're comfortable with calling a Mayday, getting on the radio, calling that out, and all that. While that's going on the maze, there's other things going on. Like Phil usually goes over the RIP bag really well. Yeah, if you want to talk about some of that.
Yeah. So like I think the first class we ever did, we touched on the RIP bag just a little bit, and then we were doing workouts and drills and pushing people to their limits, because a lot of times people don't know where their limit is until they're finally pushed there. But so we kind of didn't hit on the bag enough. So I think as we critiqued this class a little bit, and we got feedback from the recruits and from everybody, and we took a look in the mirror at ourselves too, like, hey, like what do we need to work on? And I think a big thing was going over the equipment every single day. So I know you talked about the crawl, walk, run phase, and the very first day, they literally just get an overview of what the bag is. They put their hands on it, they see what's in it, and we just talk about it in a very just
low key,
in the air conditioning, so they're not stressed out. Like, hey, like this is what's going on. Or we're in the bay and it's a nice breeze. So, or like we're in the gym.
It is January class, so you'll be good, right?
Yeah, it'll be nice. But it gives them a little bit of a break from everything going on around too, and it's kind of like 15-minute little
it's a good
overview.
It's a good focused review, or not a review, introduction into our True North RIP bag.
And then as the week progresses, we dive into it a little bit deeper. okay, like what are we doing with this bag? Okay, we might just be doing transfills, might be doing mass swaps, talk about how long the transfill hose is, all these different things, how big the bottle is, and the differences, and then they start working on packaging and like how to package a down firefighter, how to package themselves if they're able to do that, and stuff like that. And then I think adding those extra days of going over the bag, by the end of the week, we've noticed huge
because you're
difference.
building on towards the end of the week, because really you want those final scenarios to go
Super
just
smooth.
boom.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
and you
That
do the prep
combined-
work.
Yeah, that combined with Lieutenant Daly's SCBA confidence stuff has been a world's difference.
Yeah, and I mean, so we go over the equipment really heavily. Like they get the equipment, they get the rip bag every single day. They learn, like Phil said, learn how to transfer, learn how to mass swap, learn how to assess a down firefighter and package properly. Then we get into, like, on Tuesday, we continue to hammer that home. We get back in the maze, do some more SCBA confidence stuff. We go over bailouts. We go over Denver drill. We're moving a down firefighter from a window, right? Whether it be second story or first floor. But we really teach the I say Denver drill. We're not doing the original Denver drill, 3-person Denver drill. We're doing a 2-person, window removal essentially. We go over that. Like Lieutenant Conrad does bailouts. Lieutenant Gugesberg is doing drags and carries. So we have something that everybody's really good at that they focus on. So we're really lucky with our cadre, because every member of our cadre does these things and is passionate about it. And they put in the work and they put in the time and they care about this week, and they care about the job, and they care about the guys they're working around. So we do that. Then we get into a bunch of firefighter survival stuff too, whether it's realizing we put some people in situations where it's like, hey, even before we get to the mall, which is probably the funnest part for us.
Yeah.
But
Role playing.
Yeah, we put the recruits in situations where they have to make some decisions, because at the end of the day, this job is about decision making, right? And we whether it's realizing, oh crap,
Something's happening.
I had to choose my words carefully.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. I got the bleep button.
Yeah.
I can bleep.
Whether it's oh crap, I'm in a mayday situation.
Yeah.
I need to call this mayday now. And then locating a way to get out, whether it's finding a hose line and making sure you're going the right way on the hose line, mitigating a collapse, but trying to get yourself out while you still have air, but trying to be calm, think clearly, because we put you under a lot of stress. And the stress, when people start thinking with their lizard brain, and I know Lieutenant Daly could give you all the statistics, chemicals, and everything else, but when people start thinking with that lizard brain, they don't think right. They don't think clearly. What they think is up is down and right is left, and so we put them in those situations because those first 2.5 days we're at the Station 5, but the last 2 days we're at the mall all day. Well, we start Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
We start at the mall Wednesday afternoon, and then the rest of the class is completely scenario based off of real line of duty deaths that's happened. So it's not us just going in there and being like, we're just
we
trying.
think this is going to happen, and we're trying to trick you. Like, these
exactly.
are, I mean, for lack of a better, they're word for word. I mean, like, the script is the audio transcription from the Mayday.
It's
Correct.
the actual radio traffic.
Yeah. And the only thing we've done is just we've tweaked some things to fit our department and our trucks, right? So, like, instead of like engine 158, it'll be engine 14, or instead of tower 27, it's tower 5.
Right.
So we do that because we want to make it as realistic as possible, and really hammer home the need for these things to be done correctly, efficiently, and with a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I think like not enough credit is given to the guys, not only in the squad cadre, but the guys at Station 5 and the surrounding stations that have gone in and put in years of building these props and going out and doing outside trainings and seeing what other departments are putting together and how they've created or recreated line of duty deaths with roof collapse and all kinds of things. And then we're able to take those things that we've learned, because we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just literally taking what somebody has already put together, or we're taking radio traffic from a actual line of duty death, and we're trying to make it as realistic as possible.
Yep.
But yeah, I think all the prep beforehand, building props.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about that, so I kind of want to explain what the mall is. So the mall, we have space designated in one of our kind of, I don't want to say abandoned mall because it's not abandoned anymore, but repurposed malls that we have been graciously given to use, and it's a big old restaurant. Yeah, one of the restaurants. So it's a very large area. There's a bunch of props in it. We have full access to it. You know, those guys at the church over there have been super nice to us to help us out and take care of us. So we definitely appreciate that. If you're listening, props to you guys.
Thank you. Just let us keep using it.
Yeah, so I think it got signed yesterday.
Oh,
I think
thank God.
wow, you can't say that word. No, it's the other one, the one before it.
You
Did I
caught
say
yourself. You like breathed it out.
Edit that, please.
Yeah, I will.
My mom might watch this.
Love you, Mom.
So the
I'm sorry.
so anyway, yeah. So that's what the mall is. For anybody that's asking, it's kind of a big open space. I mean, it's huge. There's all kind of props in there. It's really cool, but it's something we use every week. I mean, I know guys at 5 and area stations go in there, and they'll do their air consumption, they'll do their training there, they'll that kind of stuff. So it's kind of been like a secondary or third kind of training area facility for us.
It's been awesome.
So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, the mall is fantastic. Like the what a squad week and what our week has like evolved and progressed into is pretty awesome. Starting from the entire week just being at the station and utilizing the maze on top of the training tower to being able to really like build props. We have a full residential, residential setup in there, layout.
Full house.
Yeah, I mean we have a
Hopefully
full
the homeless
residential
isn't in there.
house. Yeah. Well, to having scenarios set up and different things sectioned off in ways that we can do a lot of different stuff in there. And the big thing for us, especially when we get to the mall, is that we're active participants in the scenarios, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's
Gear
true.
all
That's a good
day
thing
long.
about it.
Yeah, we're in
they're
gear all day
right
long.
next to you.
We're burning bottles with you. We're playing. Some of us are playing victims, playing officers. We do live, like you said, we do live radio traffic. We try to make it as realistic as possible. And it's tough. I'm sure that if anybody asked any of the recruits that have gone through the last several years, they're going to say these scenarios, they're tough. They're not easy. They are like winnable scenarios, right? Like when I say that, I mean we're not making scenarios to make you fail.
Right.
We want you to succeed. Like our job is to give you the tools and the knowledge to get in there and mitigate the situations and get whoever the down firefighter is out. And we do that from start to finish, from arriving on, acting like we're the scenarios of us arriving on scene to, being staged as RIT or being an interior crew going in, whatever that particular scenario is, we do radio traffic, we do the whole thing. And, it's been really interesting to see how from the beginning of the week to the end of the week, how much better a lot of the recruits get through that week too.
Yeah. A little bit of a confidence booster too for them, like I would say, but what I mean, like it's a good thing to see, especially if, you come in a little struggling, kind of in the first part of the week and you see them crush one of the scenarios at the end and they just,
Yeah, and we see that all the time. We'll see people kind of either scared or a little nervous and they don't really know what's going on. And by the end of the week, they're like some of the
throwing people through roofs and throwing out the door.
Yeah. And like another cool thing like about having these real ideas that like scenarios is like we use live victims. Like we don't use
right because we're not under live fire conditions, so we put real people in there.
So they get to drag real people. They get to package real down firefighters, and they get to see how it feels if they're trying to bend somebody in half or make them into a pretzel. They're gonna hear about it.
They're gonna hear it,
right?
Yeah.
So we use our former captain, who's now battalion chief. He was a victim one time, and they folded him up like a pretzel. When they got him out, he had gear missing. His mask wasn't on. His helmet was gone. His hands were stepped on.
And guess ironically, guess who showed up to watch that scenario? Because my wife and my son were in town.
That's right. I do remember that.
So
this was a core memory of mine. This was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
core memory.
So my my wife and son got to witness some of the training firsthand, and it was it wasn't stellar, but like it was a true testament to like, hey, like look, like we're dealing with real people. Like even though this firefighter's down, might be unconscious, you still have to treat them.
Can't
like
just
a person.
power through it, right?
Yeah,
you gotta treat it as a human.
Exactly, you know, and it's one of the things we stress throughout the scenario is like, look, like you are dealing with real people, and you know, we used to use the actual recruits as victims a lot, but you know, some of them would be. We had some stuff happen where it was like, hey, maybe they wouldn't say, hey, stop or whatever, because you know they're recruits.
Like arms getting ripped off. They're like, oh, by the way, stop.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. So and we, you know, we got to the point where it's like, hey, we don't mind telling them to stop if it's one of us, you know. So
yeah,
but yeah, sorry, Phil.
No, you're good. And what was awesome about that day actually is they got a true feel of what it's like to pull a down firefighter out with their family there, because we stress all week about, hey, you have to assess and you have to reassess, because if this down firefighter right here is breathing but he's unconscious, and then by the time you pull him out, which may have been a 25-minute extrication or whatever it was, it took a while, and some of them do, and some of them are harder than others, but by the time they got him out, his mask had been off for 10 minutes at least, and he's not going to survive that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we stress these things, and it was like, look, as bad as it sucks that you pulled him out and we're telling you he died, that's realistic. That's real life. Like this call, somebody died, and we're trying to reinvent it to see, hey, how are you guys going to perform with everything we've given you this week? How are you going to perform in a real line of duty death scenario, something that has happened before and can happen again, and most likely will happen again, right? And we're trying to learn from these mistakes, right? We're trying to learn from our past and past of others. But he pulled him out, and the guy that pulled him out, and we're like, hey, this is his family right here. We want you to know that he would not have made it. And we're being realistic as possible. Maybe be like, look, like maybe you have to dig deep and find something like in there, because maybe you're not trying hard enough. Maybe you don't take this serious enough. And we do take this very, very serious. Yes. So we may have been a little over the top with like, hey, he didn't make it. And his family's here. But hey, you can tell them that he didn't make it. But he, at the end of it, he was like, hey, I apologize. Like, hey, dude, don't apologize.
Right.
Like, we're doing this for you guys. Like, we want you guys to be better. Like, I don't know. I
know we laugh about it because it was like, as it happened, it was kind of just the perfect like storm. Oh,
it couldn't have come together any
here's
better.
His wife and kids.
It was as realistic gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have video. We'll be playing that right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish we did. That would have been funny.
I don't think we videoed that one.
No, because you know when Jace popped out and said what he said.
Oh, that's right. Your son said something too. Or
something. My son popped out around the corner and was like, "Why'd you let my daddy die?"
Yeah. It's...
Well,
anyway.
I think Phil prompted him to say that. Probably.
I would never do such a thing.
Nah. But
anyway, segue.
Yeah,
sorry. But yeah, so I mean, I think we just summed up pretty much the whole week. I mean, we get a lot of you know, starting off from the beginning with the packs and the equipment, bailouts, and then you know, rolling all the way through scenario-based stuff. So, anything else you guys want to add for squad week specifically? Because then we kind of like, you know, I'll kind of get into like just expectations as a new hire. You know, coming into a station is always kind of how I end the podcast. And
just come prepared.
Right.
Like, I know. Like I know some of the previous iterations of the watch desk have talked about it. Be prepared. Be physically prepared. Be mentally prepared. You will get pushed, and you know we're here to try to make you better firefighters. Whether you're a firefighter who's coming from another department and you've been on the job 10, 15 years, or you're a brand new recruit right out of fire school, like you need to be prepared. Physical fitness is a big deal, and mental toughness is a big deal. And remembering that RIT is a big deal, and firefighter survival is a big deal because it's for us. You know, that's one. I can't stress it enough, dude. You got to be. We're gonna make you comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you will be uncomfortable at times.
Yep.
And you need to be prepared mentally and physically to go through this week.
Yeah. I'll just add on to that. Something even super basic that a lot of people don't understand is being able to put your gear on in a timely manner. And like Chief was saying, every single morning we start with gear drills. It sounds weird. It does sound weird.
I was like,
say cap, and I was like,
fresh. I
almost stuttered right there for the first time.
Yeah.
No, but just being able to put your gear on in a timely manner. Like we talk about all the time. Like we use our station as an example. we're right here and we have a street right behind us where people live, and my dad actually lives on that street. And so we talk about our families living in the zone. Like, if you cannot put your gear on by the time we pull out of here and get to that street, it's not fast enough.
Right.
Because the longer you take, the more time that progresses. Time is our enemy. Time is the one thing working against us that we try to control as much as possible. But if you don't know how to put your gear on and the crew is waiting on you, or the person inside is waiting on you, like I tell the recruits all the time, if somebody's inside, it's just like them being in the bottom of a pool.
Yep.
So the longer they are drowning in the bottom of that pool, in that smoky environment, they have a less chance of survival. So if you're telling me, oh, well, hold on in that pool for a second, I'm going to go get my floaties on real quick and be right back.
Yeah.
You better be ready to go in.
I got to get my goggles.
Yeah, I got to get my goggles.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah.
So
at Station 5, if you're not in that truck and ready to go, especially when a fire comes out, you're going to be standing in the bay waving by.
you're going to be left because, yeah. And not only that, but also, so gear is a big thing, but also being able to pull your weight and being physically fit, like Cap was saying.
Yeah.
See, I said it. Chief.
Got him.
But like we don't care if you're big, if you're small. Like I've been a relatively small guy my entire career.
Welcome to the club.
But yeah, but I work with guys that are much bigger than me. Tyler Lee, or
Yeah.
Lieutenant Lee,
Yeah.
and that dude is a beast.
Monster.
And I
And a
make
great
it,
fireman.
and I've made it. Yeah, one of the best firemen I've ever
And
met.
an okay paramedic.
Yeah, he's actually.
He's actually pretty good at that, too.
Just kidding. He's really
Yeah,
good.
I don't want to
Tyler.
say he's a great paramedic because they might stick him on rescue, but
That's what I was going with.
But we always talk about when we're at Old Station 5 is like being able to pull each other out. So he's 3 times my size, and I have worked my butt off to be able to pull him out of a fire if he goes down. Any one of these guys, and I tell them that, like, hey, if you can't pull us out, you're not going to be on our crew. Like, we have to be able to pull our own weight and somebody else's weight. So I don't care if you're big, small, male, female, you have to be able to do this job. And if you can't do the job, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you come to squad week and you're like, oh, well, I have different, or like I need different expectations because I'm not as strong as you. It's like, I don't care. That person inside the
doesn't
building
matter.
does not care how strong or how physically fit you are. You have to go do the same job that I have to do. He has to do that. Lieutenant Lee has to do. So if you
Absolutely.
can't do it, do us a favor and don't come.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to be a short soon. Like a
Yeah.
reel right there. That sounds like, oh, mic drop. Get your water.
No, I mean, look, like,
But it's true. It's not false.
Phil's absolutely right. I mean, like we are going to be brutally honest with people in that class. I mean, there was a moment in the last recruit class where there was some brutal honesty with some people, and like, look, the standards here. And I know some people like want to laugh and make fun of us saying that.
Yeah, the standards are standard, yeah.
I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care. We will not lower our standards to meet your abilities. Our job is to get your abilities to meet our standard.
Yep.
So I don't care what you think, or you want to make fun of us or talk squad, whatever. I'm about to say some bad words. I don't care. I really
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
Like, our job is to make you better.
Yep.
And if we don't push you to be better at the end of the day, like if we didn't do our jobs as instructors and as people on this cadre to give you the tools and the knowledge to be able to get yourself or to get one of your brothers or sisters out, then we have failed you and we failed ourselves. Because at the end of the day, our job is to help make the best firefighters that we can make, and help to get proficient in RIT and firefighter survival as best we can in order to do what we need to do for us. Because at the end of the day, RIT and firefighter survival was for us, and we have to be good at it. It's not something to be taken lightly. And like Phil said, if you're not prepared to do that, or if you are from another department and you think that, oh, well, my department did it this way and this way is better, don't come. Don't come. Like, I some people might not want to hear that, that
Brutal
are-
honesty
are in
sometimes,
this-
yeah.
in this building. But if you don't want to put in the work, don't come.
Yeah.
We want
Amen.
people that want to be firemen and want to be good at their jobs. That's what the goal of this entire department should be.
Yep.
Right? We're trying to build a culture here of being good at fire, good at EMS. Have to add that in.
Gotta add that
But
in.
we're trying to build a culture here in this
Part of the job.
department. Yeah, it's part of the job. We have to build a culture where people are excellent at their job, aren't afraid to do the job, and are good at it.
Absolutely.
Right? Soapbox.
Oh,
over.
whew. Man, that was a good couple minutes. I'm going to go
Yeah,
run through the
AC.
wall real quick. I'll be back. All right. Anything else for squad week before we kind of get into, we kind of hit a bunch on expectations, but kind of like some closing arguments, I guess. I don't want to say arguments, but
I mean, the only thing like I said, we've talked about the cadre. We have an awesome cadre.
Yeah.
That's very well rounded, very well versed. most, like, all the guys love the job. They're passionate about it, and that's why they do it. So, we have a wide array of guys that are on that cadre from, I don't know if you're going to get into this, but like we were talking before we started,
Let's get into it.
started rolling, but we have guys that are now on the cadre who are younger guys in the department who went through maybe 1 or 2 years ago, who we've brought in, because our job too, aside from getting people ready in the probationary class or the recruit class, is to also continue to teach the younger generation of firefighters that are coming into the job, because at some point we have to pass the torch.
Yeah,
like we have to pass the torch, because we're not going to be here forever. At some point, Phil, myself, Conrad, Brandon, like all these guys, Gugesberg, like we're gonna be retiring out or aging out of this stuff, and we got to have guys like Ethan Edgington, who has been on the job for a year, 2 years now,
2 years almost,
and is a absolute rock star who's comes to the squad weeks and like puts in the work and instructs and is passionate about the job, and guys like Ethan Mead, Groon, guys that come in and help.
Yeah.
Like these are guys who are younger guys on the job, but they're the next generation of guys that are going to have to take this over whenever we're not able to do it anymore.
Yeah, and that's like that mentorship thing. I think we've talked about it a couple times in different podcasts. Is like all these cadres have this younger generation coming in, and they've kind of, and you're going to find a niche where you like, some people like engine stuff, some people like EMS, some people like squad, but like they really enjoy that part of it. And there's not a lot of departments out there that do that bring in, a 1 year person. Usually they're like, you're just here for 1 year. You don't know anything. Well, they're not going to know anything unless we help them through the process and mentor them and teach them how, kind of shape and mold them into what, we want as a cadre. And, that's important because you're leaving a legacy behind, right? You want this program to continue and get better.
Yeah, and then they learn so much, I think, just teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I learned more stuff than I did ever teaching. Like as a teacher or an instructor or coach, whatever term you want to use that's been going around.
You haven't.
I've learned more doing that than I probably did taking a class from anybody.
Right. Exactly.
So that's super important to have those newer people come in and help out, and then next class they get a little bit of a module more they teach, and then we just keep adding little parts and pieces to them, and before you know it, they're like, you're retired in a wheelchair, rolling up to the stage, you're like, oh, this thing's still going.
And then it keeps them interested too, right?
Right.
So like they're not just sitting in the back seat watching forever, like, oh man, like I wish I could do something like that. It's like, look, get in there and get your feet wet. Like that's what it's all about.
And I truly do think that's something that's very unique with our department is, we are young. We are growing so fast, but to have the mentorship and be a 1 year guy and get involved, I mean, you can go anywhere here. I mean, we really could. Like, if you're interested and you have passion for something, you can go anywhere. You're not a number, in a 1,500 man department or a 3,000 man department or even a 5-man department. You can go and do whatever you want here. You can write your own book. Yeah. And I think that's important for people that are trying to figure out, what departments to go to. You got to look at that. Like, we could be doubling in size in the next 10 years, if not shorter than that, depending on things. But like you can write your own book. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And, like, especially with our training division, like, I mean, Chief Steen, Chief Haley, like those guys are awesome. They push out stuff. Like they're like, hey, you want to go to conference? Here you go. Let's go to the conference. You want to take this class? Take this class. I mean, super, super supportive, and have been, especially of like us, the amount of classes that we've taken, RIT competitions. Like we're really thankful for that too. And if you want to come to a department that is going to be super supportive, really push training, and give you opportunities outside of learning, outside of not just here, but outside of the department, couldn't ask for anybody better, or a group better than our training division.
Yep, I agree. I was one of those guys. I'm sitting here on camera doing podcasts. Anyway, so let's kind of wrap it up. Well, last couple things. just kind of one piece of advice for the new person coming to the department, not necessarily, like I said, through squad week, but just kind of one, like right off the hip, something that you want to apply here that person needs to know, like, boom, go, Phil, go.
Be coachable. Be ready to learn. Be ready to put in the work, honestly.
That was 3 things.
Sorry. Those are like, they all go together.
I'm just kidding.
Well.
Well, and it's like, I just go back to, like I was telling somebody the other day that, like, I didn't really understand teaching younger generation, or even, I mean, people my age I'm teaching or older than me. I didn't understand, like, that they're not necessarily getting it sometimes, but just them being coachable until I started coaching my kids. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I start to get it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you guys need to be coachable. You guys need, I'm like, wait, these are the things that, like, I'm trying to preach to myself too. And I'm like teaching like the other
Yeah.
people, but like, I don't know. I feel like come in ready to learn and just be willing to learn. Like Chief said, if you come in from a different department, like, just like we want to learn that
Clean
stuff
slate.
too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying that we're too good to learn. We want to learn, but we're putting something out there like, hey, this is a way we do it. Let's go through it, and that you're ready for day one. Like, we don't care what experience you have doing this. Like, come in ready to learn. Like, just be willing.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
It's
To,
hard
it's hard
to
to say,
figure that.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's hard to say. You know, like, yeah, I mean, that was great. It's hard to say like one thing, but you know, it's like be mentally prepared, be open minded, because you know, we may be doing some things differently than another department. If you come from another department, you know, we may be doing things differently than that department. You know, and maybe the department you came from maybe does some things, you know, a way that maybe it is better. But, you know, the way to approach that, right, is to, you know, take what we're teaching, take what we're learning, and then approach us afterwards. Be like, ask questions.
Yeah, be like,
you know,
hey, like not in the middle of instruction. It's like kind of one of those, like,
yeah, because
hey,
I mean,
got a
well,
question?
my way's better.
yeah, we've had. I mean,
We've had-
unfortunately ran into that, you
Yeah.
know, where it's like, you know, they look not interested, and they're like, oh, well, my old department did this way, and we're like that's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad your department did it that way, but
you're not at your own department. You're here.
Yeah, there's a reason you're not there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you should listen to what we have to say, and then if you want to talk about it, or if you wanted to bringing it up after the fact, or maybe one-on-one is the way to do it, and do it in a way that's, you know, like, hey, you know, hey, just out of curiosity, whatever, like, what about this? Because we've had some some interesting, you know, conversations, encounters, yeah, that's a good one. with certain people, but
All right.
yeah. So
Anything else? I think that kind of wraps it up.
Mm-mm.
can't
Nothing. It's
think
like
of-
next note box. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Another one.
Yeah.
We'll bring you guys back in.
If we
We'll just
talk-
be like rant and rave for anything you want.
There were so many things
Open
I
mic
could
night on
add on to,
Wednesdays.
but I kind of bit my tongue. I was like, I don't want to.
Open mic night Wednesdays.
We could do a writ competition podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that.
That'd be good.
We could talk a while for that.
Yeah.
That would be kind of
Kiki.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
Like bring you guys in to do a
Kiki
cool
not
writ,
going on
like-
air, you know.
Whoa,
Rooting first
whoa,
place for us.
whoa,
All right.
whoa! All right, burning it, burning it.
RIP.
So, all right, well, we'll wrap up episode 9, part 4 with the squad guys, and that'll be it. We'll still got search or truck week and EMS coming in. So, if you have any questions or anything like that, just put it in the comments, and we'll be sure to answer them. So, see you
next
guys.
time.
Till next time, right?
Yep.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Signing out.